It's about that time of day again, folks. Welcome back, welcome back. Thursday of OPEX, the Thursday of OPEX week. Welcome back, guys. My name is Joseph James. I'm a day trader, lonely old chartist. My home office here in Los Angeles. I run a live trade room every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time with our members from all over the world. We call our trades live in real time. Come out and see us. We offer a free trial right on the website. And with me today, I've got my partner in crime, my colleague, good buddy of mine. His name is Marty Errico. He's our pit specialist. He'll be here with his feet on the ground on the NYMEX trading floor this morning, giving us some very good insight on what he's seeing on the floor this morning. Go check out Marty every morning at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time. They have a live broadcast. Him and his partner Jeffrey do a wonderful job every morning broadcasting live the Crude Squawk directly from the trading floor. So good morning out there. We're going from the screen here in Los Angeles all the way to the trading floor in New York City. I begin this morning here in Los Angeles as a technical analyst. I'll be providing you with a top-down approach this morning, meaning I'll be starting with a slow time frame, moving my way down to a faster time frame. Multiple time frames allow me to see the big picture for profit targets, and of course the faster time frames give me the entries that I need. I'll be analyzing what happened overnight. It's very important that we look at not only what happened over the past few weeks, the past few days, but also the past few hours. A lot of clues hidden inside of the London trading session, right? London trading session is the session previous to the U.S. morning session, and I'll be digging into that here with details this morning. I know that if I can analyze what happened overnight, I can usually anticipate the direction at the open, right? The open for me is at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Right? Now we're going to hear from Marty in just a bit. His open is at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So it's very important we understand there are a few differences between the screen and the floor. I open up at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and I know that if I can do my job, top-down approach, analyzing overnight, analyzing the last few weeks, I can find those high percentage trading opportunities starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Guys, we teach this live in real time in our live trade room. Encourage you guys to come out and join us anytime you want, Monday through Friday, and come out and see us. Once I'm done with you, I'm going to toss it over to the NYMEX exchange all the way from Los Angeles to New York City. We got my good friend Marty Errico with me today, our pit analyst, giving you guys market direction, intermarket divergence. We're talking crude oil, RBOB gasoline, heating oil, and Brent crude. He'll talk about market internals, option prices, and those always important and sometimes confusing for new traders, those pit session trading levels. Remember, there's a big difference between regular trading hours on the floor and electronic trading hours, what we look at right here on the screens. So keep that in mind, right? Be paying attention there. When Marty takes the mic, he'll be talking about what he's seeing in the NYMEX exchange. All right. Without any further delay, let's jump right into it. And as always, the first thing we do every morning is we ask ourselves, what day of the week? What week of the month? What month of the year? Let's lay out all the ground rules for today. Let's take a look at what our roadmap for today looks like. Now to begin, I've got all the charts this morning posted over at sidewaysmarkets.com. There's a link right there called the crude oil squawk and prep. It's definitely not the screwed oil, that's for sure. So head on over to the crude oil squawk and prep page, and that will take you over to our crude page. Open up the economic news, and let's take a look at what we have today. We have made it through Monday, Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, and it was pretty wacky yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys were paying attention, but that Wacky Wednesday was pretty wacky, wasn't it? Up and down, up and down. An exciting day to be a trader. It took a lot of discipline to make money yesterday. We did a great job in our trade room yesterday morning, though. Here this morning now, Thursday, the Thursday of OPEX. We are thirsting for the end of this OPEX to come. It's a challenging time of the year or challenging time of the month. The third week of every 1 month we know is OPEX Friday. Let's think about this for a second. What do we have today? What's the scenario today? First of all, what day of the week? What week of the month? Today is Thursday. It is the third week, and it's the month of August. What do we know about a Thursday, folks? Do we know anything about a Thursday? Is there anything that usually happens on a Thursday? Do we have any rules of thumb, right? Monday would be slow start. Friday would be, right, an early close. What's Thursday? Well, we know that Thursday is jobless claims. So we already know that the typical scenario on a Thursday is that we look for jobless claims at 8:30. So we know that early morning trading opportunities are most common on Thursday mornings. Now that we know we got a Thursday under control, what's the third week of the month? What do we know about the third week of the month? The first week has the first day of the month. Last week has the last few days of the month. The second week of the month, not that important. But the third week of the month, what do we know about the third week? We know that we have OPEX. OPEX is the third Friday of every 1 month. Right? Third Friday every 1 month. And then we have quad witching, which is the third Friday of every 3 months. Okay? We are here today looking at the third Friday of every 1 month. Count the Fridays in August. Tomorrow is the third Friday. That means yesterday was Wacky Wednesday, today is Thirsty Thursday, and tomorrow is OPEX Friday. Okay, we know tomorrow will be a challenge, absolutely. So the third week of the month, we know it's OPEX week. Monday and Tuesday, no worries. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah, now we got to be concerned about the price action that comes along with OPEX. Put yourself in a major asset manager's position right now. You have $100 million of other people's money under control. You've got till the end of the day on Friday to get your trades in order. You are not going to be waiting until Friday afternoon. You're going to begin on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what we call it, Wacky Wednesday. All right, so now we know, third week of the month, I'm a little suspicious of the price action now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That means I'm expecting inconsistencies in price action. That means sometimes it's going to be fast and lots of opportunity. Sometimes it will be slow. What I cannot do is I cannot let my emotions get the best of me when the price action slows down. During OPEX, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to see some times of great price action. We're going to see times of horrible price action. All right, just you wait. Today will be another example of that. So we need to be patient when times are slow. And be ready to react when times move fast. Now, this is only typical for these OPEX weeks. And then we have the month of August. The month of August, it throws just a little bit more concern into the mix because we know the month of August is pretty much the same description as an OPEX week. Inconsistencies in price action, sometimes going to be fast, sometimes going to be slow. We have to be aware of that. It does not mean we can't trade it. It just means that, like I said before, on a summertime month of August, it's really just the month of August. The month of August is a holiday month for many, many traders around the world. The volume will be lower in the month of August. Today we have, again, OPEX week. We know that self-fulfilling prophecy will be kicking into high gear. Traders like you and I are saying, well, it's August. Well, it's OPEX week. I probably should take the weekend. I'll probably take a long weekend. I won't work as much this week. Whatever the case may be, put yourself in these traders' positions, and I can easily see more traders being on vacation this week. I can easily see most of the kids going back to school next week, right? So therefore, the parents are trying to have the fun, the vacations this week. Guys, you can easily see why the volume would be lower in an August month of OPEX week. So now that we know the overall scenario, and again, you can see this little exercise we go through each morning. We do this every morning together in our trade room, and it's very effective at making sure that everybody is aware of what the reality is today. Because it's really difficult as a new trader, right, to know what to be worried about before you begin trading today, right? And it's so important that we understand what we're going into each morning. Right? In other words, it's nice to pack a raincoat and an umbrella if you're walking out into a thunderstorm, right? Better be prepared. Here we go. Thursday, August 15th, we've got some big news today. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 Red Star news events today. We don't see this very often. Now, this takes all the concerns about the inconsistent price action, and this alleviates a lot of those concerns, but we still have to remember the price action will have good times and bad times today, but boy, there ain't much room for it, right, until after 10:30. As you can see this morning, and again, remember, one of the big things we look for are Red Star news days. Red Star news days always tell us This is what dreams are made of, right? This is what a good day looks like. We've got a lot of big news reports to work with. I'm going to set my alarm and trade around those news reports, but the most important thing is be aware you've got Red Star News today at 8:30, jobless claims and CPI, 9:15, industrial production, 10 o'clock, Philly Fed survey. All four of these news events will have dramatic impacts on crude oil. Consumer prices, you'll be talking about inflation. Inflation is on everyone's minds right now with all the Fed speak about tapering. Jobless claims. Jobless claims are one of the most commonly monitored and commonly watched economic news reports. Every Thursday, everyone's tuning in to see, are the jobless claims continuing to fall? We've seen a trend going down in jobless claims, and that will most likely continue. Industrial production. Industrial production, I think of factories. I think of manufacturing. Very important to crude oil. And of course, the good old Philly Fed survey. We're always interested in seeing what the Fed surveys. These are manufacturing surveys coming out of, in this case, Philadelphia, PA. We heard from the Empire State, right? The Empire State will also be at 8:30, right? So that's the New York Fed survey. You've got the Philly Fed survey later on in the day. We've got Treasury International Capital at 9 o'clock, and we've got housing market at 10 o'clock. Boy, difficult to keep track of all that today. That's why we use a very specific alarm clock. We'll set up our alarm clock later on this morning just after 8 o'clock. But again, we'll be entering all this news information into our alarm clock today to remind us to trade around this news. As you can see, boy, we may have to wait here, 8:30. We may get a little bit of action here between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, 9:15 to 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, that's when we should get the wide open spaces here. You can see here, though, we're going to have to wait until we get through 8:30. Then you've got 9 o'clock, 9:15. So really it's going to be 8:35 to 9 o'clock, and then 9:15 to 10 o'clock, right? 8:30 to 9, 9:15 to 10, and then we're wide open from there. All right? Plan your day accordingly, guys. Plan your day accordingly. This is easy stuff to be ready for. Now, open up some charts. We grabbed some charts this morning, and the first thing we see is we are above the previous high of day from yesterday. Very important clue. The bulls are in charge above the previous high. The bears are in charge below the previous lows. If we tumble here and go back into that range, that's a short selling opportunity for us. That is a short trigger for us to get short. We call this the inside out setup. We go above the previous high, we slip and we fall, and we'll be selling short down to the lows of that channel. Now, being above the previous high of day, if we keep going higher, I'm buying pullbacks as we go higher. So keep that in mind, guys. The plan today, above the previous high of day. If I stay above this 107.33, I'm buying pullbacks. If we go back below the 107.33, I'm selling down to the lows of that channel, right? Quite an easy plan here today. Really important we notice the previous week's high, 107.69. That clearly is a line in the sand. Put yourselves in the trader's shoes right now. If you recall last week's high all the way a week ago at 107.69. Now here we are again. We've made it all the way back up now to that previous week's high. I treat the previous week's high just like I treat the previous high of day, right? The previous day's high. It's an important level to be aware of. It's a psychological level. If I'm above the previous week high, I'm buying pullbacks. If we fail back below the previous week high, that tells me those buyers have failed and I'll be selling short. So around the previous week's high, around the previous day's high, we know we have either buying opportunities above it or selling opportunities back below it. We also should mention one thing today, and normally I don't mention this, but since it is a Thursday of OPEX, if we begin to sit on this previous high of day, that may happen today. I don't think it's going to because of all the news that we have today. But keep an eye out. If this thing starts to sit sideways on top of that previous high of day, members know this, whenever we hit that previous high of day 3, 4, 5 times, right, bouncing up and down around it, that's when all of a sudden that previous high of day is discounted and we have to then look for more clues. So it does have a tendency every once in a while on days, I don't want to say like today, but days where we can expect some slop and chop here a little bit as, again, August, OPEX Thursday, we know we're going to get some low volume today at times. So with that said, it may slip here, but it may stick on top of that previous high of day. right? It may stick on top of that. I'll have to check. Yeah, that was the previous week's high there, Gary, right? Not to be confused with this week's high, right? The prior week's high. And I can check that for you, double check it for you, but usually that stuff's pretty correct. Thanks for being here, Gary. Thanks for being here. Great question. So my 30-minute chart now leads me into my 1800 tick. Here's my anchor chart. The anchor chart that we'll use here to trade this morning, very important clue here. You can see now we know why we've run into such apparently a brick wall there on the 30-minute chart. You can see here the 108.07 to 107.41. That sell zone clearly has held. I drew this trend line in after the fact. That trend line was not there before. That was drawn once we found that swing high there at 107.85. So as you can see here, 107.41, 108.07. This is a big clue here, guys. I could easily see now this price pulling back. I've got support levels at 106.73, support levels at 106.38. I have a trend line support, and I've got that 105.71 there waiting for me. So we will expect to see prices pull back here this morning. We've got a resistance zone at 107.41 to 108.07. We've got plenty of room here to the downside right now to pull back. We've got major support levels, though. That's the key really right now. Major support level here at 106.73. That'll be the next closest major support level for a profit target, 106.73. Moving forward, though, we open up our entry time frame now, and we begin to see a lot more information. Now, we have a feeling the bulls are in charge right now because, again, they were above the previous high of day. Now, we'll keep an eye on that previous high of day, of course, but the reality is that as we pull back, we now have opportunities to buy here. 107.53 has been broken, so we'll get rid of that. 107.43, been broken. We'll get rid of that. Next up now, we have 107.18 and we have 106.99. Now, 107.18, again, I'm looking for a move higher now, and that will initiate buying patterns for me. I'll be looking to buy using my wave pattern once we start to go higher. You know me, I'm not going to guess, I'm not going to predict. I'm going to wait for price to go higher, and then it's wave pattern long, right, all the way back up. 107.18, 106.99, those appear to be perfect locations for price to reverse, and then again, we'll get the reversal first, and then we'll start looking for those buying opportunities after we get the reversal. Now, 106.99 is also the line in the sand today. That means if we happen to fall below the 106.99, now we know the blood's in the water. Now we know the buyers have failed. We will be back below the previous high of day, back below the previous week's highs. If we slip and fall, guys, below 106.99, I am selling short down to 106.72. I will take profit at 106.72. I will look for a short down to 106.44. If we don't get it, though, again, back to the races here, selling short again below 106.44 down to 106.05. So it all starts to drop below 106.99. Again, like I always say, I'm going to sell short into support. I will take profit at support. If we keep going below the support, I'll look to initiate another sell below the support. Take my profit at the next support level. If we break below that support, again, I initiate a sell order going below that support down to the 106.05. At any time, guys, at any time, if these levels hold and we start to rise higher, if these levels hold and we start to rise higher, at any time, if these levels hold and start to go higher here, we will then begin looking for those buying opportunities again. Because as long as we're above this 106.44, as long as I'm above 106.44, we still have the potential for those buyers to take back control. So now that I've told you guys the scenario today, now that we know what to expect here this morning, and wow, look at that 107.43. Look at that candlestick holding on for dear life. Incredible. So again, once I see that reversal and we start going higher again, that's my cue now to look for that wave pattern long to get into those buy orders. If we get below 106.99, that's when I'm looking at almost a sky falling here. The buyers will have failed and we initiate sell orders all the way down. I will still have potential to buy as long as we're above that 106.44, but below 106.44, now those sellers are in control and I've got to be to the short side. Now that's only one man's opinion. We know that today is Thursday of OPEX. We know we should expect some inconsistencies in price action in the month of August. We know we have 4 Red Star news events today, 8:30, 9:15, 10 o'clock. But you know what? It's one of those. It's one of those. Good to have you here, Gary. I'm glad we good teamwork there. One of those days here in the month of August. Is it really that quiet, though? How are we looking on the pit? We got Marty Errico here to join us live from the NYMEX Exchange. Marty, thank you so much for being here today. Always good to have you. Good morning to you. How are we doing out there on the floor this morning?
All right. Good morning to you, JJ. Well, it's a little early still for most of the traders, but overall, happy to see that we can actually hold up above 107. Yesterday was very concerning, right? Yesterday we were not able to hold levels above 107 for anything. We weren't able to hold above it. We didn't get to test that high from yesterday. We had a lot of bullish scenarios in the market, right? And we weren't able to test these levels and hold above the 107.20. Well, the call last night was, I don't know if anybody listened to the commentary, but the call last night was we wanted to get above 107 even, right? And if we can get above 107 even, then we'll be happy in terms of buying. Okay, so let's see exactly where we open up today. I'm looking for an open up above basically, 107, 107.20. If we can get a nice opening bell, pit session opening bell, 9 o'clock, above that level, then I think we can continue to stay bullish. Or closing settlement above 107 even, 107.5, sorry, would be very bullish. Give us that chutzpah to get back into the market and trade a little bit higher. But again, that's what I'm basically looking at in terms of activity, in terms of just levels. Again, 107.5, I'd like to see a closing solid above today. All right, so across the board this morning here, we turn our eyes to all of our usual suspects, and we can see that you have your crude up higher by about 50 cents this morning. Got your Brent higher as well. Look at the Brent SEP and October contract. We're in the October contract now for Brent, but look at the Brent SEP as one more day. Today's the last day of trading for the Brent SEP, and look over at like 111. I can't believe it. What a rally in the last couple of days. And look at your October contract. We're almost up. We're 50 cents shy of 110. So we're getting some nice activity to the upside. Keep in mind, RBOB, big rally yesterday off the refinery utilization rate. Yesterday, RBOB, that's very bullish when the refinery utilization rate comes out the way it did yesterday, because we're in the middle of summer driving season, so the gasoline rallied because of that, heating oil, crude, they kind of all rallied. So we're off the heels of this very bullish report that we got yesterday out of the DOE EIA, and we're also seeing this tension over in, where is that? Egypt. I was going to say Israel. No, Egypt. The tension's over in Egypt, right? Yeah, that's another geopolitical factor that moves this market. So you can see they had a disaster over there over in the overnight session. You can see crude's now trading higher because of that. So, yes, big disaster over in Egypt, and that's why crude is trading higher as well. So more can come, I'm thinking. So let's continue to keep an eye. Let's look at all the other rest of our suspects. Brent WTI spread today. I'm going to look at the OCTA contract here. 254 right now in contango by about 28 ticks. So we could expect just a little bit of a pullback. But again, overall, watch that spread. SEP to SEP counter spread about 366. That's Brent WTI, I meant to say. Brent WTI SEP to SEP about 366. So again, we're expiring in the options today. We're going to see a lot of volatility. A lot of the traders, they pegged that 107.5 strike level. That's where they can see some value. That's where they want to see the market at right now. A lot of the options traders in the pit. So today by 2:30, they're hoping that we get a settlement around 107.5. That's where a lot of the options traders want to see their contracts expire at. That's where the most open interest is, so to speak, in the strike level 107.5. So I'm guessing we'll probably end up drifting around that level here, and we'll find our way back up at that level at 2:30 today when we close pit session, when that September options contract expires. So today we have OPEX for your crude and your energy products. Tomorrow we have OPEX for all of our major indices, right? So that's going to be important. So kind of continuing on, we're going to take a quick look over into your dollar. You see your dollar is a little bit lower this morning by about 20 points, 40 points here. Well, 20 ticks, 40 points, right? We're lower on the dollar. So your euro higher by about 40 points. We have your Canadian higher by about 15 points. We have your Aussie up about 20 points or so. So you can see the kind of rising crude, falling dollar, right? You see the rising currency differential there. let's just real quickly talk about the risk-on, risk-off sentiment. So it looks like here we might be having a little bit of a risk-on day here as we're starting to see this dollar trade a little bit lower, crude trading higher, but it can slowly diminish after we get these numbers, right? It can definitely slowly diminish after we get these numbers as we have a lot of data due out in just about a half hour. Let's take it on over, take a look at the volatility here real quickly. Volatility has been losing steam, but holding steady and firm. Again, if we dip below 20% involved, then I think we'll be toast and we'll probably end up trading lower. But again, strong volatility, crude finally holding up near these highs, above the highs of the week so far, now starting to trade a little bit higher now. Again, that 107.50 is going to be a very important level. Let me give you guys the pit session levels. These are the pit session levels from 9 to 2:30 yesterday. Your high was up at 107.03. Your low was at 105.60. Right? Closing settlement number, 106.85. Daily pivot today. Did JJ say something about that 106.44? Well, I got 106.38. That's close enough if you ask me. So that's the daily pivot for today. And if we do fall below that level, then yes, we are going to be selling at least down to 105.5. So again, that's your daily pivot today. We have 106.38. JJ has 106.44. Just a little bit of a difference between the pit and the screen, right? It's not a lot. It's only off by a couple of ticks. You know, if you really look at the highs that are made in the Globex and the highs that are made in the pit session, it's really only off by a few ticks anyway. So, again, that daily pivot is going to be a very important level. If we fall below that, then we're going to be selling. But if we can buy that daily pivot, that'd be great. Okay, so resistance up above, I got 107.20, which we already surpassed. We got 107.81 and 109.24. So if we get above those 81s, the 107.81, then we can definitely see 109.24. Support down below, we got 105.73, 104.95, and 103.53. Again, open interest has been actually rising just a bit. If you look at the October contract, if you look at the November, you look at the D's contract, we're all up in the 200,000s, right? And obviously we're losing a little bit of steam into September because we are rolling as we speak again. So probably coming into Monday, I would say, we're probably going to be focusing on the October contract because there's going to be more money in the October now that the options will be expiring today and people will be getting out of the last-minute step position to get everybody in the pit starting to roll. So that's going to be interesting to see. But open interest has been rising. The participation has been coming in just a little bit more. I think it's just because of the options expiration. People are just getting out of these positions last minute here on Thursday, Friday, as JJ was just saying. So I think that's why open interest is rising into the outrights and also into the options. And when I say outrights, I mean the regular contract that we watch, the outright. So again, it's rising just a bit more participation, but I think it's just for options expiration, not because it's the third week and everybody's on vacation of August, right? So let's just take a look over at some of the strikes here. I got the 107.5, 106 strike level, 7,000 times were traded in the pit yesterday. Again, to the downside, only 2,103 puts and 104.5 puts were traded in the pit. So you can see the money's to the upside. They price in the upside. They want to see that 106.5. I mean, they want to see the 107.5 in the options here. So that's, I think, where we'll probably end up getting a close and settle at. Keep in mind, remember, yesterday into the close, right? We were listening in. We were looking at the pit, and we were watching. Locals were pretty much net long into the close. Now, they balanced out maybe a quarter to half of their positions, but a lot of the guys this morning are still net long. So off the bell, if we get a lot of selling, don't get surprised and don't get fooled because locals were net long into this afternoon, and I have the note. They were long last night, yesterday into the bell, and they're now holding some long positions. So if you get a little bit of selling off the bell, it's usually normal, I would say. Don't get all excited again because they guys are net long into nighttime. So they're probably going to sell in the morning to get out of their position. So that's something to worth noting, guys. Again, locals are net long into expiration, right? They want to see this market trade higher. They think the market can still trade higher as they are still in long. And again, they have about 1 hour now so they can get out of these positions at 9 o'clock when the bell rings. All right, guys, talking now about your natural gas here. Perfect game plan of attacking natural gas yesterday. Again, we bought those 333 halves. We got the opening print above 333 half, and we ended up buying them all the way up to about 337. Today we have inventory, so I'll be pretty careful with natural gas. Again, we'll probably expect to trade sideways probably until we get that number. Again, we'll be watching that 9:30 to 10:30 hour to see how these big guys are positioning themselves before the number. Real quickly, let me just give you guys a high-low numbers real quick. High in the pit session for yesterday, 337.60. Your low is 333 even. Got to close the settlement number 3 334.20. Guys, daily pivot today right near that settlement number, 334.90. A little bit of resistance up above at 336.80, 339.50, and 336.80. Those are backwards here, but then again, those are all levels of resistance, so you guys can use that. Support, 332.20, 330.30, and 335.70. Again, just these levels here on that. Just switch them. It's no big deal. Just switch these two. All right, that's it. Just switch those two. I'm sorry about that, guys, but again, those are your levels here of support resistance in the natural gas. Volatility has been rising quite significantly, so expect some big movement today. Volatility has been really rising. Again, the evidence before the storm is here. Inventory numbers are going to come out. I think, hard to say exactly what's going to happen. Again, I saw warmer than expected weather this week. That's what rose the market yesterday, but we're looking at last week's numbers. So really tough to say what it's going to be. Again, we're going to be looking at the expectations later on, and if it's above expectations, just sell it. If it's below expectations, just buy it. It's going to be a wild day in the natural gas today, so keep your tabs on it. All right, guys, that's really about it for me. I'm going to throw it back over now to JJ in Los Angeles as we're ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen, here on a Thursday.
Boy, as always, Marty, thank you so much for your valuable insight. We really appreciate you spending the time here each morning. And boy, yeah, I'll bet you got a crowbar the doors open there in the morning sometimes to get in there. Marty's like that kid that was there the first one to school every day, getting straight A's.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep,
I love
exactly.
it.
No
I
one's here.
I would love to see that trading floor completely empty and then just swell up with all that action. Boy, maybe sometime in the future we'll do a live broadcast. Maybe I'll be out there with you on the trading floor someday. I'd love to see it there empty with you in the morning.
It's interesting.
Great to have you here. Great to have you here.
Site. Okay. The expectation for natural gas number 70 BCF. Somebody's just asking 70 BCF. So anything above 70 you'll be selling. Anything below 70 you'll be buying. Okay.
Got it.
Now
70 BCF, guys. Today, 10:30 inventory numbers for nat gas. Awesome. Thank you, Marty. As always, appreciate it, guys. So we heard from Marty this morning. One of the key components that he was talking about was this bullish sentiment in the market, locals being long overnight. Don't be fooled by that pullback here. You can see the price is already pulling back into that 107.25 area as we speak. So, guys, be aware of the situation today. Come out and join me this morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Time in our live trade room. We'll be trading crude. Don't forget to join Marty and his partner Jeffrey at Traders Audio every morning at 8:50. They do a great job in their broadcast with Traders Audio. We'll be listening in as well. Guys, don't forget, do you want a ticket to tomorrow's show? Do you want to get some feedback to us? Do you like something? Do you hate something? You want to add something, remove something? I want to hear from you. Don't be shy. Shoot me an email, JJ at School of Trade, Marty at Traders Audio. Shoot us an email. Let us know, do you want an invitation to come to tomorrow's broadcast? Tomorrow we get a Friday edition every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We love your feedback, and we'd love to have you here on tomorrow's call. OPEX Thursday. Have a great Thursday morning. Remember to learn this stuff so you can earn with this stuff, and we'll see you guys in 23 hours and 30 minutes for an OPEX Friday edition of our Crude Oil Squawk and Prep. Have a great day, everybody. Signing off from Los Angeles, from Marty Errico, my name is Joseph James. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.